Good morning. This is Harmony with Harmony Stitches, and welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time, thank you so much for stopping by. On this channel, we talk about my crafting journey, which is mostly cross stitch, sometimes knitting, and every once in a while, crochet is thrown in the mix. I do post a video every Sunday if I can, and so here we are. It's Sunday, November 7th, 2021. And I have, I think, quite a bit to show you and talk about, so let's go ahead and get started. Last week I said that I had some yarn delivered to make a blanket for a high school friend who her and her husband plan to become foster parents. So she wanted the child to have a blanket of their own. So I volunteered to make this blanket. She got the yarn and delivered it to me last week. And I did get started yesterday, I think yesterday, which was Saturday. Maybe it was Friday. I can't really remember. Sometimes the days just blend together and I really don't know what's going on. But anyway, it is Bernat blanket yarn. This color is Smoky Green. And she also got, I think it's called Pale Gray. The ball band for this one is in the other bag. This is the first ball I'm on, and as you can see, it is getting down to the end. I mean, yes, there is a lot left in this ball, but it won't go very far. And this is how much I've got done so far. I am making just a granny square blanket, so it'll just be a humongous granny square. I started with the gray. I'm kind of kicking myself. I think I should have started with the green. She did get 2 balls of each because I wasn't sure how big we wanted to make it. I didn't know what the measurements were. And my gauge in crochet is usually pretty small compared to the designers, so I had her get 2 of each color. We'll see how it goes. If there's any left over, then maybe she can get me some more, and I'll have a second blanket for backup in case they do get a second foster child. So that's kind of my thought. So we'll see how it goes, but I am almost through one whole ball of this, and we'll see how long it takes. So that's project number 1. This is going to be my new car project. So I rode with my husband today. He does the bus ministry at church. So I rode with him back and forth. My daughter came with us too today. Sorry, I'm trying to get this, but these balls are so big, I'm trying to shove it in my bag. So we all went, so what we do is we drive to the people that want to come to church but don't have a way or are not well or whatever. We drive to their home, pick them up, and take them to church. And then we have to drive them and drop them off afterwards. So I was in the car for a bit today, so I was able to get a lot of that first ball taken care of. Next is, I think I may have mentioned it briefly in a previous video, that I may be doing a Christmas sweater for a little friend of mine from church. His parents are huge thrifters when it comes to clothing, because of course kids grow real fast. And at the thrift shop, they found a sweater for him, a Christmas sweater, and he loves it. And they went back and they happened to find one just like it, but in a bigger size. But he is outgrowing that sweater. So I said that I would make him a new one. It is not going to be an exact replica of the one that he has, because that one is pretty intense. But I said I would make him a new Christmas sweater. The one that he has a dinosaur. So I did look up, I am familiar with intarsia knitting. I've just never done intarsia knitting in the round. It can be done. I looked up some videos. But since I've never tried that skill, I figured that since it is already November 7th and I want this boy to get his sweater by December 1st, I figured that now is not the time to learn a new skill for my toolbox. So what I've decided to do is to either cross stitch or duplicate stitch the dinosaur and the Santa hat for the dinosaur on top of the sweater when I get it done. And I think that this is is a good alternative. I know that this is a common practice when adding designs to sweaters, but also in the sweater that he has now, the dinosaur, it looks like the dinosaur is added onto the sweater afterwards in some kind of fashion. I don't have the sweater in my hands, so I'm not exactly for sure, but it does give it a little bit of texture. So I'm thinking that by doing the cross stitch or the duplicate stitch, either one, on the sweater after I finish, two things. One, it will give it a little bit of a 3D effect like his current sweater. And two, I'll be able to take the dimensions of the sweater, count the stitches just like a cross stitch design, and I will be able to know how big of a dinosaur I can put on there. And I just think it would be a lot faster because then I can just knit in the round. I don't have to worry about a graph or learning this new skill. So anyways, we did go yarn shopping after church. On one of the other knitting podcasts that I watch, a woman talks about this Impeccable by Loops and Threads all the time. So this is what I picked up. Sorry. I had space. I was trying to think of her name. Her name is Jocelyn. So I got the red, which is Red Hot. I got quite a bit of that because I think the base of the sweater is going to be red. And then I've got Kelly Green. I got a couple of those. It's just a regular green color. It's kind of showing up a little bit more on the blue side on the camera. There we go. And then I did get one ball of white. I think what I want to do, the collar and the cuffs on his sweater is like a couple rows of green, a couple rows of red, a couple rows of white, and that goes in the body of the sweater or something like that. There are 3 different colors in there. But I was thinking of maybe giving him a little bit something different and doing a corrugated rib, which is the knit stitches are in one color and the pearls, it's a knit one, purl one, the knits are in one color, the pearls are in another color, and it makes this really cool effect. So I thought about trying that. But also I hate ribbing. So I'm just thinking whatever would be faster at the same time, because we only have a couple weeks and it will be December and this boy wants a sweater that he can wear to school. So, I do plan on maybe using, the Flax sweater pattern from TinCanKnits because it is free. Their patterns are tried and true. They've been tested by multiple people. I've heard good things about that sweater. So if I can, get my gauge down, I shouldn't have any trouble. So, and I'm a tight knitter as well. So I do need to do a gauge swatch because I don't want the sweater to be too small, because he's already in that situation where his sweater is too small. So that will be a knitting project that I start today. And with that being said, there may not be a lot of cross stitching in the next week. Just that maybe the secret stitch will happen on my lunch breaks. But other than that, there may not be any much cross stitch, just because I really do want to get this boy his sweater. So, okay. So speaking of secret stitch, I did start this. I did have Monday off of work, so I was able to start it when the mail came, just like I said. I think I mentioned that in my last video that I was waiting for fabric. So, here it is. Abominable bundle by Plum Street Samplers. And I've got a lot done. I'm stitching this in hand, so my fabric is kind of wrinkly. But I was able to find from my online retailer some 28 count natural linen. And this is what I have done so far. Here, let me fold this down so we can get a better view, and it'll help block some of the light. Okay, so here's baby. He needs a head. He's all finished except for his head. His head is completely 1/1 stitching, and it's quite sizable. Dad needs see, there's outline, kind of an outline and rough fur on the outside. That's done in DMC 644, so he needs that all the way around, and then he needs another hand and he needs a head. not all of his head is 1/1. It's just the eye section. Same with Mom. Mom is up here in the corner. She is done except for her entire face. So she needs some blue, and then she needs her eyes. And then there's trees. So there's 2 trees over here. I'm doing this one, and then I think there's 3 more big ones, and then there's a couple small ones. And then can you see this little flowery thing? There's some of those all over the place as well. So I'm folding it the wrong way. It's hard to tell what you're doing on camera. You think you're doing it, but you're not. So what I was doing was trying to do this tree here, so that way I could then continue the border up and get the border done, because I did make a mistake. So down here, I started with this part. Somehow I got 1 too many stitches right here between the tree and the little flowery thing. So there's too many stitches between his legs. But what I did is I just put the leg, like lined it up with the 1 foot. So it is lined up correctly with this foot. It is 1 stitch off over here. But what I figured I would do is I would just fill it in with the fur on the outside with the DMC 644, and nobody's gonna know the difference. But that also means that nothing can be counted off of the dad, Abominable. So everything has to be counted off of the border. And so like I can count off of this tree and go this way, but I can't use this as a point of reference because it's not in the right spot. But I am about 2/3 of the way done after just 1 week. My husband and daughter did go to the movies yesterday, which gave me a little bit of extra time. And my husband worked overtime yesterday morning. So I was able to work on that. And I was stitching it at work during my lunch break. So that's how I was able to get so much of that done in one day, because I was doing it in the morning when he left for work and then on my lunch break. So I was getting about 2 hours on it a day, but yesterday I got extra. All right, so enough about that. If you do have questions, that was, like I said, that was 28 count natural, I think it was called Natural Linen. It was by Zweigart. It's an older piece, but she had it for a really good deal. And I am using mostly the DMC conversion on the chart, but I did substitute the color for those little flowers. I used the persimmon that I used in the Bigfoot one. Instead of black coffee for the border, I did purchase another skein of coal because I couldn't find mine. And I did that because coal was also used for the border of the Bigfoot chart. And then pea pod was what I used for the leaves in Bigfoot. So instead of buying pine needles or pine needle, I think it's called pine needles, I bought a pea pod. So I'm doing the big green trees in the pea pod. So that way there's a little bit of more connecting the two of them together. And yeah, other than that, those few changes, it's just the DMC. I did not like the dye lot of the blue that they use for their face and hands and feet, so I went with the DMC. Of course, I will put all of this in the description box, but I feel horrible when I forget to tell you guys, so I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm rambling. I want to give you the information, so. All right, this is the Thanksgiving freebie. I wanted this done this week, but it just didn't happen because I was able to get a lot of stitching time on that. However, I did get a lot done. So I did finish the turkey. I did the whole pumpkin except for the little stem. I didn't think that I wanted it in the same color as that I put in for the lines on the pumpkin. So I just haven't done that yet. I may just go back in, and I think that's also $6.44 in TMC. And then I did pull the colors for the little berries or whatever they are. This chart called for all gentle arts. And of course, I don't really have gentle arts. I only have leftovers from other things. So what I did is I did pull up a DMC conversion for gentle arts, and it gave me some options. And the light purple was one of those options. Of course, for some reason, I can't get my camera to focus. So I don't know what that is, but it's light purple. It's 3041 and 3042. The dark purple came up as DMC 550. And I just, if you know 550, it's a really deep but bright purple. And I just didn't think that it went well with the rest of them. So I did see the darker purple in my stash. So I pulled that, laid them next to each other, and I thought it was really good. So what I have left to do is 1 turkey and 4 more bunches of leaves and 4 more bunches of berries. But I think I'm burnt out on this. So what I did is I added this to the WIP wheel, and when it comes up on the WIP wheel, I'll be able to get it done in a week with no issue. But for now, I am putting this one to the side. Okay, and speaking of WIP wheel, last week's wheel spin was George Decorates for Martha. So this would usually be the piece that I was working on my lunch, but of course, you know, I was taking advantage of the opportunity of secret stitching. However, that means that I was able to work on this at home in the evening time. And I know that in last week's video, I had grand plans of everything that I wanted done, but for some reason, I don't have the floss color that I needed for the tree trunk that would give me a point of reference for all of those leaves, green leaves. So George Decorates for Martha. This is in the package, but so I was working over here. I wanted to get Martha done, some more of the house, and then I wanted to take the tree trunk up. This is a tree trunk, and do the leaves. But for some reason, I don't have that color, so I must have missed that when I did shopping. I am going to look in one space to see if I accidentally left it behind, because I have a little baggie of flosses that I went to purchase for charts, but then I couldn't find the chart that they were supposed to go in. So they're just hanging out there. So when I go to do a project that I had kitted up and something's missing, I always look there first. I didn't look there yet because I had plenty to work on this chart. However, I did all but... Oh, I'm noticing 4 stitches. She's complete except for 4 stitches. So here's Martha. She has 2 lone stitches in her little, the collar of her dress. I missed the one. It's brown, the 3371 brown. It looks black on camera, but of course, you know that color. And then there's one right down on the point of the collar, and that's the color that I'm missing. And then I did not put in her hands yet. So there's supposed to be 1 stitch for each of her hands, and I don't have those in yet. But look at the house. So last week I was right here. See this orange door? I was right there, but the door wasn't filled in. So all of this underneath my hand was what I put in this week. And I did the door and the entire roof. I got this dormer done. I got this cupola done, this next door. This house has 3 front doors, people. 3 front doors. But that's a lot of stitching right there. I did get those 2 crows done and 1 flag. I took up the border. This is 2 strands, 1 strand of each color. And then I just need to go a little bit further with the door, and then I'll be able to put in 1 strand of 3371 there. So even though I did not reach my goal on this, I did get a lot done, and I love the color for that roof. It's Carolina Cecil. I love the way that it's turning out. Now, looking at it in person, you don't get the variegation as much, but the camera picks it up very well. So this is going back in the rotation. It will be on the wheel, but I feel that I did some great progress. And looking at the chart, I'm like, holy smokes, it's gonna take at least another 2 rotations even to be able to get that house completed, because that's a lot of stitching. But I'm happy with the progress from this week. So okay, so now we get to the part that we normally talk about, my WIP wheel spin for the next week. So I did my wheel spin yesterday while my husband and daughter were gone, just so that way I could kind of contemplate and think about, okay, this is the project I'm going to start tomorrow morning and all that good stuff. But then I noticed that George Decorates for Martha was still on there. Vintage Animals was still on there. Something else was still on there. I'm like, why are these still on there? So I'm like, oh shoot, my WIP wheel's messed up. I forgot to hide the slices. So you can hide the slice once it's been, the wheel lands on it. So that way it doesn't come up again until you tell it to. and I messed it up. However, after I looked at it, there's only 2 more choices. Mario Map, well, that's what I'm calling it. Mario World Map 1, World 1, and then Beatitudes. So this is what I decided. I was just going to pull out the Mario Map and work on it this week. And then next week, I'm going to work on Beatitudes. I'm going to leave the Beatitudes. And I couldn't work on it while I was doing Pandemic because it's really too large for me to work on in hand. So I needed the frame. So I've skipped it a couple times. So what I'm going to do is put it back on the frame. And I'm going to work on it all next week like I normally would my WIP. And then I'll leave it there for the rest of the year. And I'll put a strand or 2 in it whenever I have the chance. Now, you know, like I said, with this knitting my little friend this sweater, I may not get a lot of stitching time in the next couple of weeks anyway, but it's all right. Whatever progress I get done, it's less stitches that I have to do the next time it comes up on the wheel. So it's no biggie. So this week I am doing Mario Map. I'll have to put in a picture because it is a digital. So I'll see if I can get a picture without giving away the pattern. But this, I'm going to link it to the Etsy. When you buy the pattern, at least when I bought it, you got 12 charts total, and it was less than $10. I think I paid less than $7 for all of them. So that's a really, really good deal. And I think the reason being is because all of Mario was pixeled anyway, so it really wasn't, I would assume it wasn't as difficult to create the charts for these as they were for something that, you know, you drew out or something. So I will put the picture in of what it's supposed to look like. It is a full coverage. I think I'm insane because you know that I don't like confetti stitching, but I think it'll be okay. I did put in over 2 strands already in this morning because I didn't want to work on anything else. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on that. And then I started some more of the color. So this one has a lot of black outlines of things in it, and then you fill in with color. Well, it also calls for, I'm going to show you the thread list. So the thread list is this column here, and then this column here. I kind of quickly estimated how many strands I thought I would need, so if I could pull from my stash or if I have to go buy something. And I only have the ones that are checked off. So I need quite a bit more colors for this. But it's okay because there's, again, just like what George decorates for Martha, there's a lot of work that can be done until I get those colors. I just didn't realize that I was still that lacking. Otherwise, I would have picked some up yesterday. So I did put in these 2 strands here. And then I thought I finished that little cactus, but I messed up the eyes on that small one on the side, so I had to rip those out. And then I started the green here, but then it was time to leave for church. So I think that I have some color that I can put right underneath of this line here. And I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to see how much I can get done. This one does have a lot of counting just because of the nature of the pattern. So I don't know, we'll see what I can get. If I can get the secret stitch done in a couple days, it'll give me more time to stitch on this at work. Because I probably won't take the sweater to work. I'm not sure. Maybe if I get desperate in the last week of November or something. But there is Thanksgiving week. So I was thinking about taking, it's kind of tradition for me to take the Wednesday before Thanksgiving off to be with my daughter. Her school usually has that day off. I know that she's in a different kind of schooling right now, but so I might have extra couple days because I'll have, if I do take Wednesday off, I'll have Wednesday all day. I'll have Thursday, Thanksgiving all day. Usually it's just the 4 of us, which is myself, my husband, my daughter, and my mother-in-law. So it's not like a big, huge thing that takes up a lot of my time. We're kind of simplistic too when we go for our meal, so we don't I won't have to bake and cook all day. But I'm not really sure what we're doing for that. And then I'll have all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that might help me get a lot of progress on whatever cross stitch I want to work on that week, but also the sweater and the blanket. Now the blanket, I might not be able to work on too much all at one time just because it's chunky and it kind of hurts my hand. So I did work on it a lot today, so I'm going to have to see see how it goes in the morning on whether or not my hand hurts. Okay, the Thanksgiving freebie, I think is 20 count white Aida. George decorates for Martha is 28 count Monaco. I coffee and tea dyed that. And then Mario map. Yes, I know it's a Ziploc, but when you're desperate, you're desperate. I think this is 18 or 20 count. It's kind of ivory. Aida. I didn't really care what color it was because it's going to be, it's full coverage. It's going to be all covered up. I am using 2 strands on that, even though it is a higher count Aida, to give it a full coverage. So, okay, I do have a couple of purchases. The other day, my husband and daughter went to the dollar store or Dollar General. You know that I love the Dollar General for the finishing pieces. And I have this. Remember, this is a Christmas present for a coworker. And I haven't been able to find the piece that I wanted to put it on. So when he was going, I said, look for a piece that is 6 inches by 6 inches. I said, I need the space to be 6 inches by 6 inches. And then by the time I finish this on the cardboard, it'll give about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch on each side. So he found this. So this is kind of like a leathery type material that says Merry Christmas. I'm gonna leave it there, but he picked this because I mean, obviously it was Christmas. He did say that there was, so if anyone is in Michigan and has a Dollar General, which most of you do because they're everywhere, there was this one at our Dollar General, but then he said there was a gingham one, or gingham, yes, black and white is gingham. It's the, now just mini lesson in case you want to know. If it's white and another color, it's called gingham. If it's black and red, it's called buffalo plaid. Why? I have no idea. Just go with it. Okay? So I think it's black and white gingham. It could be red. I thought he said it was black and white, which I don't know why they would have that for Christmas. I could be wrong. He might have said a different color and I just forget. But this is perfect. It's perfect. By the time I finish this, there'll be a little bit of this sticking out. You won't even be able to see this because of them mounting this on a board. So it's perfect. It doesn't take up a lot of space. I think this is going to be perfect for my coworker and I'm super excited. Look at $2. $2. And I'm sure that she's not going to have that for a lifetime either. So I'm not worried that I only spent $2 on it and that is not the highest quality. Yes, I just did air quotes on highest quality because there's other people out there talking about the stuff at Dollar General not being high quality, but I'm like, I'm not expecting it to last 200 years, so I don't really know. Okay, anyways, I did get another 10 skeins of various colors for Lady of the Flag because Lady of the Flag by Mirabilia is, if I can get the fabric, it's on order from my LNS, but if it doesn't come in by January 1st, then I'm just going to start it whenever the fabric comes in. I talked to my daughter about it today and we are okay with starting it whenever it comes in. I don't really feel that it's going to take me forever. It is kind of a full coverage piece in the fact that her whole entire self is full coverage, but it's not full coverage in the rectangle. So like I did look up the stitch count earlier and all I found was someone said, well, the stitch count is this by this. Just times it out and that gives you the stitch count. Well, not really because there are other areas that don't have any stitches. You take out the amount of beads, which I think the beads are like 2,500. So that subtracts it. So whatever. I don't think that it'll take me that long. And I'm okay with Lady in the Flag taking a little bit longer. I'm not going to be as like, I need to get this done like I was with pandemic. So, all right, 2 more things that I purchased. I believe this one was on my wish list, but I saw it in stock, so I just went ahead and purchased it. And it's from Country Cottage Needleworks, and it's the Nativity. And it's, I know that's hard to read, but it says, for unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. I thought this one was super cute the second that I saw it. And I have blue 28 count Monaco that is perfect for this, so I'm super excited. It's supposed to be dove gray, but I don't think it's dove gray. I think it's some kind of light blue. I'm not mad about it. So this one is by this girl's mama. Diane Williams at Little House Needleworks. Did you guys know that this one and this one are mom and daughter? So this one I found back there, and This Is My Joy. And she charts it one time, but then shows that you can stitch it in multiple colors. So this is black, a red, a gold, and a green. I got this from my local needlework store, and I got the black coffee and apple fritter to be able to do the red and the black. And she did have the thread pack that had the green and the gold. And I don't know exactly what colors. It doesn't say on here. Well, let me open this up. I think there's writing on the inside of this chart. Nope, there's not. Okay, so I don't know what colors the gold and the green were, but if you call my local needlework shop and you want this, they'll be able to pull it for you and get it to you, because it's so super cute and it's such a simple pattern. You can whip that up in a day. I'm super excited about it. I did have the gold and the yellow one in my pile, but then when I saw the apple fritter, can you see the variation in that? That sold me right there. That sold me. I had to have it. Black coffee, and I can leave black coffee. It's pretty much $33.71. I can leave that. But the apple fritter. Oh, and here's the thing. It was $8.50, and you got both skeins of floss and the chart. Come on. So, I had to get that. And then the rest of my spending money, my husband didn't give me extra money. I bought the yarn. The family said that they were going to pay me back for the yarn. I'm not even worried about it. But my husband did give me extra spending money this month because he came into some. So he gave me some. And all the rest that I have in my wallet is going in to save for StitchCon. And that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm just going to have to, every time that I get my hands on some money, I'm going to have to put some away, which is fine. Okay, let's see. We talked about WIPs. We talked about purchases. We talked about future projects. Like I said, I don't really know what I'm going to be working on this week. I do have to do a gauge swatch and get working on this sweater. The baby blanket or the child's blanket for the foster care parents they're not licensed yet. So it's not an emergency. She just wants to be prepared for when they do get a child placed with them. So I do have a little bit of breathing room on that. And then I have Secret Stitch. But like I said, I'm like 2/3 done with that bad boy. I'm going to get that done this week. So, but I also have Thanksgiving week. Oh, that just remembering that we have Thanksgiving this month just lifted a burden off of me, because I'm going to be stitching or knitting so much. I'm super excited about that now. But it's 3 weeks away. 2 weeks away. It's 2 weeks away now. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. I hope that you're excited too. I think that's all that I have to share with you today. It's been a long video. I'm super glad that I decided to switch over to my phone so that way I don't have to cut my conversations with you short. Because that was really bothering me that I wasn't able to just chat with you and ramble on the way that I normally would, especially if we were in person. I still have this little guy like staring at me like, finish me, finish me. But anyway, I think that's all I have to share. I hope that you guys are excited about Thanksgiving coming up. I think November is a great month to focus on what we're thankful for. And today I'm thankful that my family is healthy and safe, and that we're able to go to church and together safely and come home, and thankful for a lot of things. I could probably ramble on for a half an hour at least just on what I'm thankful for today. So I hope that you meditate on some things that you're thankful for too, and I will see you back here next Sunday, November 14th. I have to serve at church again, so hopefully I get some work done on my projects on break times. Until then, I get some crafting in, and I'll see you later. Bye.